What's happening, everybody? This quick little video, I just want to talk about Kazuya in Smash Brothers and take a look at all of his moves and how they compare between both versions. I think they did a really good job to convert the character into Smash. He just has a ton more moves, and maybe they're not all useful. I think it's really nice that they're all included in there. So I just want to take a look at all the moves and their inputs and see a lot of the cool little connections they made when translating the character's moveset. So first up to talk about would be Kazuya's devil form. In Smash, he doesn't really transform, he just kind of does it automatically. In both games, in this and in Tekken 7, when you take a certain amount of damage, you'll enter a rage state where you glow red and you do like 10% bonus damage. In Tekken, you can spend that rage in the form of your rage art, which is just like an invincible super move, and Kazuya's looks like this. And once the attack is over, your rage is gone and you go back to normal. It's just like a one-time thing. You can also choose to spend it on what they call a rage drive, which is just like an enhanced version of a special move. And in Kazuya's case, it turns his Thunder God Fist into a special version called Heaven's Door, where he flies you up and then slams you back into the ground. And then he stays transformed into the devil afterward. That looks like this. Normal move, but then it activates and becomes the special version. And then at the end, he's stuck in devil form otherwise. Now, you can spend your rage to just directly transform into the devil on its own, but no one ever does that because doing it via that move, Heaven's Door, is way more valuable. But in Smash, you don't need to transform to access the devil moves. They have it kind of baked into a lot of things. So when you're in this rage state, he can use his rage drive, and what it basically does is allow several of his moves to turn into that extra enhanced version. One of those moves is just your throw. If you just land your throw, it'll turn into that. His down special is this Heaven's Door attack. It's all on its own. It does that no matter what. Heaven's Door, back down. But if you do that during your rage state, you get like the enhanced version of it. The same thing is true if you do it via inputs. If you do that move, the crouch, dash, and hold A input, you get the whole Heaven's Door, and you get an enhanced version of it. So all three of those will convert Kazuya's rage into this move and get bonus damage. But other than that, he doesn't need the access rage to transform into the devil to do most of his devil moves. And most of those moves are baked in, like I said, and they're done via his specials or his smash attacks. So let's start with his specials overall. Just neutral B button special is Devil Blaster. Horizontal laser beam, pretty much covers full screen really fast. The Tekken version of it looks like this. It has to transform, and then it just presses 1+2. It's a high horizontal beam, and 20 years ago, back in Tekken Tag 1, Devil was a separate character from Kazuya, but when he would do this laser beam, certain characters were too short. Link Xiaoyu and Roger the Kangaroo, this would go right over their heads. Their hitboxes weren't tall enough to make contact, and they could just go over them. Every other character could just duck because it's a high, but those characters had nothing to worry about. It would just go right over their heads. And Sakurai talked about that in the game too. There'll be some characters that just don't get hit by it. However, in the Smash version of it, you can angle it. You press B and then hold down, or hold up, and he'll aim it up and down. This is way better than just having that one by itself all the time. The down version of it would be really good at covering people trying to dash under it. Up version obviously is really good for air zoning. So that's kind of versatile right away, whereas the Tekken version of it is nothing more than just a gimmick. It's something cinematic to show off the Devil Gene. It's not a very practical move. His side special is this Devil Fist, where he flies right through you and stuns. Has this cool little animation where he does like that anime ninja thing where they just whoosh right to the other side of you. And if you're at certain percentages, this will cause a stun. You can see it's low, it's just bouncing in the air. But now at 27%, he gets that stun. And I can do, combo stuff to him from there. So that in Tekken is done by doing forward 2 while you're transformed into the devil, and you get this animation out of it. Otherwise, it's a totally different move when you do that. So that's a devil only move, and he can just do it as his regular side special. Gets a little combo stuff off of it and all that. His up special, he just kind of flies up in the air. He doesn't really have this in Tekken. You don't really jump around a lot, and you don't have any need to like vault in the air. The only way the Devil Kazuya can fly is if he intends to fly in the air and shoot laser beams like that. He can do that by pressing 3+4 in Tekken, and you can press it twice and he'll fly to the other side and try to shoot you in the back. But anytime he goes in the air, he's going to shoot lasers. He can't just fly around. So that's not very Smash Brothers-y. So his up special is kind of a move that doesn't really exist. It's just an upward mobility flight thing. It doesn't have a Tekken analog. Because that would make sense, right? To be the one character that could just flap wings and fly around. So they kind of had to stick that whenever they needed. This is more of a cinematic thing, like in one of his endings, he beats somebody up and is like, all right, I'm out of here, and just flies out through the ceiling. That's where you'd see him do something like this, not a regular move. And the last special move, as we talked about, is Heaven's Door. Down special, he does this Thunder God Fist, and then he transforms, flies you up in the air, and then smacks you back down to the ground. This is Heaven's Door. As we talked about, if you have Rage activated, that turns into a special Rage Drive version of that move. Same basic idea, just more power, more knockback, and stuff like that. So those are his specials. They all he transforms into the Devil to perform the move, and then transforms right back. So it all kind of takes care of itself. As far as his smash attacks go, you have the Glorious Demon God Fist. It's his side smash, transforms into the Devil, and smacks you. And in Tekken, it normally looks like this. It's just forward 1+2 at the same time. He doesn't transform. He can do this move perfectly fine in regular Kazuya state and still bounces them off the wall and everything. But in Smash, they add a little razzle dazzle where if you charge it up, he transforms. Actually, he transforms no matter what. He just does it during the wind-up if you hold it long enough. So side smash is Glorious Demon God Fist, his forward 1+2. Just added Devil form for some razzle dazzle, that's all. Up smash is a Devil Twister. Now in Tekken, this is a sidestep move. This move you have to step off to the side and then you launch them in the air like this. You just tap sidestep and 2, and this comes out. As long as you're in that circular sidestep, it comes out as Devil Twister. But since Smash Brothers has no need to move around the opponent like that, they just made it an upward move. You want to punch him in the air, you just press up plus punch. Nice and simple. So Devil Twister is his up smash. And down smash is this elbow, this overhead chop elbow. This is normally just his down back 2. He also does not need to turn into Devil to do this move. It's a regular move. It's a really, really good move. It's one of his best currently. But in Smash Brothers, he transforms into the Devil, does the move, and then transforms right back. So all of his smashes tend to do the same thing. He activates Devil power for just a moment, and then goes back. Otherwise, he really doesn't use the Devil form, and the Rage system doesn't really change him at all, where it's kind of important in Tekken. You want to, as your Kazuya player, you think about that a lot. When I get to Rage, what my options are, right? I want to hit him with Heaven's Door and transform, or I want to use my Invincible Super to try to steal the round, whatever it might be. So let's kind of move on to just some more basic Smash Brothers implementations. As soon as we saw the first Kazuya video and they showed all the crazy Tekken moves he has, everyone wondered, how in the hell are they going to put all of these moves into a Smash Brothers game, right? You get 4 specials and 4 tilts. Well, the main way that they did it is they gave him 8 tilts. All 8 primary directions are now a different tilt. So he has a down forward tilt and an up back tilt that you can access all of these moves from, as well as a couple of other inputs. His basic mash jab is his 10-hit combo, like that. This is just a relic from like Tekken 2 days when you didn't have long combos. They just gave him like this, every character has this like sequence. It's not even a combo. People can block this, they can get out of it. It's just not good. It's just a gimmick, right? Like kind of laser beams. It's just a relic from days gone by. And it's there because it does still exist in the games for whatever reason. So just like Smash Brothers in general, when you just mash jab, eventually they can shield and jump out of this or whatever. Well, Kazuya's is no different, except the last hit will break shield. So if you're just sitting there shielding, you're going to get hit by it. But you have plenty of time to roll through or whatever in the middle of all this. So just like any other mashing jab, Kazuya just has a little bit more style to it because he changes up the moves up to 10 times. In Tekken, it looks exactly the same. It's just hard to do because you have this very precise sequence. You have to do this string 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you have to get it exactly right and time it cleanly. It's very weird. So it's not practical. It's hard to do. but it's in there and it's kind of like a signature thing in Tekken, so they included it and they did a good job. Whereas that's just mashing your A button. If you do A twice and then delay, you get this flash punch combo. 1, 2, 3. It's just a single string of 3 punches. In Tekken, it looks like this. It's 1, 1, 2. You can see he even delays it right here. And what he's doing is hit confirming. Because this is really unsafe on block, you get punished if you do the whole thing. You can do the 1, 1 jabs and see that it made contact and then press the 2. So that's why it has the delay in there. And I think it's a really cool addition why they made that the delay in Smash Brothers. 1, 2, 3. Right? You delay it because that's what you're doing in Tekken is you're hit confirming. You're making sure that landed, and then you press the 3rd hit. So that delay in Smash, it's AA, pause, A. That little bit of delay represents the Mishima player hit confirming that string. So that's kind of a nice little touch there. I mean, you can do that in Smash, too. You can make sure, okay, it landed. Boom. That should be a natural combo. I don't think they can shield or get out of that, unless you take, like, way too long. 1, 2, delay should hit them. So it was kind of a nice homage. They made that work like it works in Tekken with just a single button. Other basic things is while you're running, you have this leaping sidekick, which is basically just running 3 from Tekken. Every character has these running moves that are pretty good. They have a good block stun, but they're easy to avoid. Especially in a game in 3 dimensions, you can just move out of the way. So this is there just to have a dashing attack. And the same thing in Smash, right? It's got, good properties, but it's kind of easy to avoid. It's in there because, what happens when you're running, you got to do something when you come flying at them. So it's kind of an all or nothing kick, just like it is in Tekken. A better version of that, though, is by double tapping forward instead of just holding into a dash and going. If you just double tap forward in the button, you get a different move. You get this splits kick. And that lets you get a little bounce in front of them, and you'll get combo stuff from that, too. So forward, forward A replicates Tekken 7's left splits kick like this, done by forward, forward 3, same kind of input. And the cool thing about forward, forward moves is he can do them out of his Wavedash system, which we'll talk about a little bit. I'm not quite sure if you can do that in Smash yet. I don't know how precise it is with your inputs, but this move was practical and is a very signature move for him because its usefulness out of Wavedash. That's why it got included. I don't know if you can do it out of Wavedash in this game, but you can just do it the old-fashioned way with forward, forward A. No matter what. So let's take a look at his 8-way tilt system. Each one of these just represents a different move or string that he has in Tekken, and I think they did a cool job of representing how the move works. The first one with up is up tilt. You just press it twice. Is his twin pistons. Oops. You gotta be precise. These little diagonals might be a little misleading for us Tekken players. Smash players too, honestly, if you're used to just 4 directions of tilt, hitting your diagonals clean might be a little bit different sometimes, but it shouldn't be too much of a growing period. Tekken players adjusting to doing this on an analog stick, I think is going to be harder than Smash players adjusting to diagonals. That's my guess for now. So up tilt and just press it twice is his twin pistons. In Tekken, he does this as while standing 2. While standing is a complicated little thing from Tekken, and we will cover that later too because he does have another while standing move that you have to do like that in Smash Brothers as well. It's an even bigger signature move. They made you do it via the same input rather than just translating it into a tilt like they did for twin pistons. The twin pistons is up tilt, you just press it twice. So up forward tilt is the next direction, and you do 4 A buttons. You get this rising sun kick. It spins all the way around. You can do 3, 4 hits if you want. You can stop it cleanly and just do a couple hits, or you can do all 4. In Tekken, it's just done the same way, up forward, and then 4, 4, 4, 4. And you can stop, do whatever hits you want. However, in Tekken, this move is complete garbage. They're going to block or parry that first low kick and murder you for it. This has no purpose outside of a few select wall combos. And honestly, that might be the same thing here in Smash. It might be pretty good for these combos and not super good otherwise. They're going to be able to block and dash out of it or whatever. Not a good move in Tekken. It might be like a nice little combo tool here in Smash. It's hard to say. He's got a lot of cool little combo tools in Smash, so whether that makes the grade or not is yet to be seen. Next up would be his forward tilt, which is this front Oni kick. Damn it, keep getting smashed. This controller's hypersensitive. I guess I can do it with the stick. Why am I not doing it with the R stick, now that I think about it? So his forward tilt is this front Oni kick. This is one of his better ranged moves, and in Tekken is done by just pressing forward 3, since it's his left foot. forward 3, and you can see he's putting every single bit of his 5'9" into that kick to hit you at range. It's one of his better ranged moves. That's pretty much all you're going to get with his character when it comes to range. Outside of shooting laser beams at people, you know? As far as basic punches and kicks, this is one of his rangier ones. And again, Smash could change that too. They might have altered some hitboxes, and you do have movement skills to get on people, so it could be a non-factor, really, that the range of that move, he might have different stuff in this game. Down forward tilt is these tsunami kicks. 1, 2. They have slightly different properties. Like the first one just launches you in the air, and I think the second one might be a shield break. I forget if Sakurai talked about that or not. But the difference is because in Tekken, you can kind of use this as separate moves. It's got a nice little delay in the middle of it. And you can hit confirm that. If it lands, you can just press the second button. But if it doesn't, you're going to get destroyed. This is very bad on block. So you being able to delay that will sometimes catch an opponent napping, and they can get counter hit. It's very hard, it's very risky. But I think they tried to represent that in this game by just making the one hit and the second hit of it a little bit different in their functionality. You sometimes want to just do the one, and sometimes you want to let it rip with the second one. It depends on what you need. So I think they kind of replicated that well. It's varied practicality and usefulness in Tekken. I think covers here as well too. Next up would be down tilt. What is it called? Like Nigiri Uraisen or something like that? Uraken. Nigiri Uraken. Something like that. It's this little down crouching spinning back fist thing. In Tekken, it is done by down 1+2. But it's nothing special unless you catch him on a counter hit, in which case it pops him up in the air and you get a whole combo from it. So let's make this move pretty good there, because it goes under highs and he gets a launcher from it. In Smash Brothers, you can see it definitely pops him in the air real quick anyway. So you're going to get a combo starter off of this at certain percentages too, because on normal hit, boop, in the air, just like that. So it seems like Kazuya got a lot of that stuff. Combo starters by just like stunning you real quick or popping you up real quick, and then you follow up from there. Doesn't matter if these moves used to be launchers for him or not. Lots of stuff looks like they get combos from. So your down tilt is a nice little low pop in the feet that you get damage from that way. Down back tilt is the stature smash. Tekken's down back 4 kick is a really good move for him in that game because it's just a very practical, neutral poke tool, right? You get him in the ankles, and you get frame advantage, you get the spacing out of it. It's a really good move to keep people on their toes. You hit them low and you make them consider ducking for a minute. But you can see in Smash here, it's causing this little trip effect. This seems like that might actually be really good. Right? You get a ton of combo potential from having them knocked on the ground. I don't think they can shield that state. I don't honestly know how many other moves in Smash do that. If that's a common thing from just like a basic hit or not. That like pin to the ground state or not. Looks like it's pretty good though. Looks like he cannot shield because he's getting up with some invincibility right there. So that's what's kind of telling me is that state is not shieldable. I didn't test that out yet, and I don't care at this point. I just kind of want to look at the move for what they are. So that's actually a little bit better than this version in Tekken. In Tekken, you don't, even on counter hit, you just get some like stun, right? A little bit of frame advantage. That looks like that's a whole situation here in Smash Brothers. So down back tilt could actually be pretty good. Back tilt is this little swing kick. Doesn't seem to be anything special. Doesn't seem to be super rangy. He moves forward a teeny bit. You know, knocks him back or whatever, but so does everything else. In Tekken, this is back 4, and he gets a whole combo if it lands as a counter hit, but otherwise it's not anything special. And I feel like the range of this move compared to doing like forward tilt, I don't know. It just seems like it doesn't have a good purpose. That's one of the ones where I feel like, why wouldn't I just want to do this, that, or the other as opposed to this move? But it's hard to say. We'll find out maybe. That has some interesting evasion properties or whatever. Don't know. Maybe it has one particular combo it works well in where other moves don't. What else we got? And the last tilt is up back. This is a kind of a weird one. Sakurai talked about this a little bit, how you jump backwards and you hit people coming at you with it. Not something you really do in Tekken. There are a couple moves in Tekken that you can treat like that. Like Brian's orbital heel, you can do backwards and hope somebody runs into it, but it's not a like everyday practice, let's say that. But this move, he can do this by pressing up back 3, and you'll see he'll do the same like weird jumping back kick. Because most of the time in Tekken, when you press up, you're going to get a jumping move. Since you're not jumping around manually, jump is built into a lot of your moves. So up back 3 will actually give him this move. Kind of weird to see if it has any usefulness in Smash. Maybe, you know, if you're shielding something and then you go out of it like that, I don't know. It's hard to say. But that's exactly what what Sakurai wanted us to know is that you can jump backwards and avoid people like this, but it doesn't seem like you jump very far, to be honest. We'll see. Maybe short little jabs lose to this. Don't know. So what else do we got? In addition to 8-way tilts now, there's crouching moves. I mentioned earlier how he's got a what I called while standing 2. Tekken in general doesn't treat crouching the same way as other like 2D fighters like Street Fighter would. Normally in Street Fighter you have like 6 buttons while you're standing up and 6 buttons while you're crouching, lows and stuff like that. Tekken's not like that. The majority, 90% of your arsenal comes from standing, and you would just press like down with your attacks to do low stuff like this, right? This is down back 4. You just get a low by pressing down, same way you get, you know, jumps by pressing up. So when you crouch, you generally only have like a couple of simple limited options. One of them would be if you just hold straight down to crouch, you get this duck jab. And you can see in this game, just as well as Tekken, you just get a basic jab functionality. Nothing special out of it. Looks like this. Does the exact same thing. So basic jab, you can kind of do a couple of them. It's not really worth anything. And your crouching kick, whereas in Smash, if you just hold down back in order to crouch, you get this low spin kick. And these are kind of like your only crouching moves. You don't really do anything else out of a crouch. This one, however, in Smash, it definitely knocks you into the air where it doesn't in Tekken. That might be a little bit of a slight edge. That's kind of what you do. You don't crouch a lot in Tekken and have moves out of it. Your whole purpose is to crouch to avoid something and then get right back into it. However, there are a couple of characters, Kazuya is one of them, if you're in a full crouch and you press down forward, you get like a different state. Like look what happens when I just hold forward on the stick is Kazuya, right? I run at them. Whereas if I crouch and I start to hold down forward, I get this creep, this crawling creep, right? And you do that in Tekken. If you're in a crouch and you hold down forward, you kind of like creep at them with your feet. And in that state, you can press different buttons. You can do one little creep and press a button. And that's how you activate this Tombstone Crusher. In a full crouch, you press down forward in A to get this. So Tekken has that too, to a small degree. From a crouching state, you press down forward. It's different from down forward in your standing state. Have to be in the crouch first. Okay? So that's kind of the weird way that Tekken deals with crouches, is you don't do a lot from it, except for the few characters that have this down forward crawl type of attack. And the other thing you do with crouch is to stand right back up. If you're crouching and you let go, right, you return to a standing state. And while you are standing, if you press a button in there, you get different results. This is while standing 2. I let go of my crouch, and so while I am standing up, I press A and I get that attack. And Tekken looks exactly the same thing like this. It's while standing 2. During the period of standing, I press the 2 button and I get this attack instead of crouching 2 or standing 2. I have a while standing 2, as we call it. And Kazuya's twin pistons, as we mentioned, is one of these 2. If he does while standing 1, 2, he gets his twin pistons. In this game, they just made that a tilt, whereas this Demon God Fist, they left it the same. You have to crouch, and then while you're standing, you press 2 to get this monster attack. Because that's such a signature move for Kazuya. They left its input exactly as it is. You get hit with this in Tekken, and it hurts your soul. It just, oh man, he's going to hurt me so bad for that mistake, and you feel it. So that's such a signature move. They made sure they had it the exact same input. Got to be done from crouch, which is very odd for Smash. And honestly, it's kind of odd for a lot of games outside of Tekken. I don't think Virtua Fighter has a ton of stuff like that either. The DOA, 3D fighters, they don't really do it that way. This crouching state is fairly unique. So the fact that they translated it well into Smash Brothers is very surprising and actually kind of cool. So that is most of his basic attacks in form of tilt, his regular jab stuff and his tilts, and this crouching system. The fact that you can do different things from crouching. Let's take a look at jump attacks. And since you don't jump in Tekken, these are a little bit different in their translation. You don't just jump around manually, but they do exist. His neutral air is just this downward punch. You can see in Tekken, he does up, back 1 or up, forward 1 like this. And it's awkward, it hits, it doesn't look right. It's just there because whenever you press up, you get jumping moves. It's there for legacy's sake, not something you use, this jumping one, but that's what it is. Forward air is this slashing kick like that Kazuya does in Tekken by up, forward 3. He's on the ground and he just does that little jump kick right away instead of jumping in the air and then doing the kick. So that's kind of like the best way to translate that. He does a little jump kick from the ground, whereas in Smash he's already in the air, he does the same kick. That's his forward air. up, forward 3. His back air is best described as being backwards. In Tekken, it's possible to have an opponent get all the way behind you because it's 3-dimensional. And some characters can fight backwards on their own because of their martial art lets them, move like that. So when you're backwards, you do have access to a couple of different moves, and pretty much every character has this like back-turned jump kick situation, right? You can just turn around punching, or you can do this like jump kick from your back foot, right? Most characters will do a jump kick from their front foot, for example. You can do it from your other foot when you're backwards. So that's the best analog to this, is a backwards jump kick. Back turned, up, forward 4. So since that's the only time backwards is relevant, they used a back-turned move from Tekken to fill that spot. I think that's kind of cool too, right? You're only going to see this when he's backwards, which is kind of rare. So in Smash Brothers, it'll happen more often than not, but they wanted to replicate the idea of turning around backwards via that move. His up air is a weird one to me too. It's not a move he has in Tekken that I'm aware of. He just kicks straight up with that swirl behind it. It's kind of similar to this, where he kicks straight up in the air and then back down. Or even this, where he lifts his foot up in the air, the splits kick. Puts his foot up in the air and then back down all quick. It doesn't look like any of those. Honestly, what it looks like is his move from Street Fighter Cross Tekken, where you could just do like punch, 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 launcher, and like launch him in the air for your opponent. That's what this looks like to me. This looks more like his move from Street Fighter Cross Tekken. It's animation-wise. It seems familiar, and it could just be that this is an animation like, that used to look like this, and they just kind of changed it over the years. I don't remember this move specifically in Tekken, but it does look familiar. I feel like Street Fighter Cross Tekken might have been the inspiration for this little upward kick. So that's his jumping, his up air, and all it does is kick them straight in the air again. So since that's not like something Kazuya even does, most of his kicks, as you see, are kind of like back down to the ground. Even this thing punts them into the ground afterwards. So he doesn't like kick you high in the air for many purposes. So this one was a little bit of a reach. I think they kind of borrowed this from a slightly different game, which I think is even cooler, to stick one of his moves from another crossover game in there. And the last one is down air, Demon Scissors. And again, in Tekken, you don't jump around. The move just looks like this. He does it from the ground by pressing 4 to 3. 4-3 real fast, and he flips both feet over and does that. Since it is like a flying overhead heel kick, it made the most sense to have him do that from the air and just drop down on you with that big-ass heel from 20 feet in the air. But again, Tekken, he does it from the ground level. Smash Brothers, you can do it in the air. So that's kind of a nice analog too. I think they got the spirit of that move correct. Like if your opponent's on the ground in Tekken, they just lay there, you could do this move and then flip right on top of them. That seems like that application is similar here. That was another good job. And so the last category to cover is this crouch dash thing that he has. Crouch dashing in Tekken is actually very important for these type of characters, because most games where you just have forward to dash, forward to dash. In Tekken, if you press forward, down, forward, you'll dash, but you'll crouch at the same time. And what's cool about this is he goes under high attacks. In Smash Brothers, I think it's invincible. I think he flashes right there. I think he gains actual invincibility during that moment, which is good for him because his range is bad. He's going to have to come flying at you. But this is what Mishimas do. They come flying at you with this wave dash in your face, and you don't know how to react in time. So this crouch dash, forward, down, forward, is how you do it. And you can do it in succession. This is where the term Wavedash originated from. There's always the argument whether it came from Melee first or it came from Tekken Tag 1. I think it came from Tekken Tag 1. The idea that you could take a crouch dash and do it again, and it looked like he would up and down like a wave. I don't know if it's as practical in Smash yet as it would be in Tekken, because it's really, really important in Tekken for a Mishima player, because you're moving really fast, much faster than you normally can, and you have some nasty mix-ups coming out of it. In Smash, I feel like you might be better off to just do regular dashes and stuff. It's hard to say. But the fact that he has invincibility from this might be the real deal breaker. So out of this crouch dash move, he's got several options. One of which is a throw called Gates of Hell, which you can actually do out of full crouch. You know how we talked about when you're crouching and you do that down forward creep? You basically do that twice. Crouch creep, down forward, down forward, and then press throw. You get this. You get this Gates of Hell throw. So you can do that out of a wave dash in Tekken. I'm not sure exactly how precise it is here. Oh, there it is. That was really easy to do. So since you do a wave dash already, and that counts as your crouch, you can just kind of do it like up, 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 diagonal, down, diagonal, and then hit it. And then press your throw button to grab them. I don't know exactly how precise I can be at doing that repeatedly without practice, but you saw that first time I did it. Crouch dash, and then just kind of like down, diagonal, down real quick, and then press your throw. You'll have to practice. This is not going to be easy. Not easy in Tekken. It's not going to be easy here. So you have this like crouching, crawling throw that you can do. That's interesting. I can do these dashes out of full crouch. Interesting. There's probably a lot of tech to explore. They probably had a fun time programming this movement and probably didn't find out a lot of things that it could do. So there might be some interesting stuff in there. Anyway, Gates of Hell is a throw you can do on a crouch dash or from full crouch. Wind God Fist is just this rising uppercut, which in Tekken he does by the same crouch dash and inputting 2. This looks like a normal uppercut, launches you in the air. But he has the special version of it called Electric Wind God Fist. Looks like this. He goes Doria, and he launches you. It does almost the same thing, except it's much, much faster. You can do several of those in a combo. The difference is that special version of it is like plus on block, and it's really oppressive. It's a tool that Mishima players, especially Kazuya, must master. They can punish things that other characters can't do. It can be really oppressive. It's a really good overall tool for the character. The Smash Brothers version of it, you can see, has a slightly different like launch property. There's a normal one, kind of punch them in the air, and it's 16 damage. Now you can see the electric version of it did 17 damage, and it kind of floated them in front of me for a second, a little bit more hit stun. I'm not sure if that has any different properties in Smash. Sakurai really only mentioned it doing more damage for the most part, which it does in Tekken. It actually does 3 more damage than its counterpart, but property-wise in this game, it might not be any different. It could just be that extra 10% damage. I don't think there's any different frames. If you had a frame data counter, you could find out exactly if this does have better recovery and stuff, and I'm sure somebody will in the future. So is it worth mastering as a Smash Kazuya player? I have no idea. Probably not, but it's definitely in there. If you do learn how to do it, you're going to get more damage, so it's probably worth it. Anyway, that's Crouch Dash and A. You get Wind God Fist. If you hold it in, you get Thunder God Fist, the bigger meteor uppercut with his left hand, which was a mid, so they kind of covered their own bases. That Thunder God Fist, when you have Rage activated, will become the special version called Heaven's Door. If you do it via the Crouch Dash 1 input, or Crouch Dash and hold it, it'll become Heaven's Door automatically if you have Rage. And in Tekken, you can see that he can do this move by itself with Crouch Dash 1, but he has a slightly different input if he wants to do the Rage Drive version of it. In Smash, it'll become the Rage Drive version automatically if he has Rage activated. And the last option on a Crouch Dash is Crouch Dash B, the Hell Sweep. This one hits low, trips them off of their feet. And that's the dangerous mix-up in Tekken, right? This heavy knockdown low, the mid that you got to stand up and block, or the high that's a big frame trap that you want to duck, right? You got to constantly make a read. When he's wave dashing in your face, you got to figure out which one's he going to do. Oh, there's the low, you know. Oh, well, there's the mid. You got to make that read at all times. So it's really, really dangerous potential. In Smash Brothers, if you're good at this, it is going to be very dangerous too, because the invincibility that Crouch Dash gives him. A lot of characters trying to defend themselves with a keep away tool might just get blown up by him going right through it and, you know, getting popped in the face with Electric Wind God Fist. That's going to happen, but I feel like it's going to be really, really hard, and people might just abandon this character before they really get to the good tech. Because I'm sure there's some really good high-level dirtbag stuff you can do here that's going to be really hard to find out. So this stuff is probably going to be really good, but I can't say how much. And I kind of worry that it might not get examined too well. When compared to a character like Pyra and Nithra, they're so much easier and so dominant. This is a character that most people are not going to want to dive into, but somebody will. Somebody out there will master this character, and it's going to be awesome to watch. Now let's take a look at specific grabs and see how they translated. The regular neutral grab is not a thing that he has. He doesn't really do that in Tekken. It's kind of a generic sort of grapple technique. So that one doesn't have much of an analog. But the rest of them do. When you do forward throw, you get that, which is just Kazuya's generic standing left throw. In front of your opponent in Tekken, you have 2 throws, a left one and a right one. They have different animations, and your opponent has to break them differently. That's his everyday generic left throw. His right throw is just like a toss over the hip. It's not very stylish. Whereas this front throw, that was really cool. He does that in like the cinematic opening to Tekken 4. It's definitely kind of a signature throw. Smash Kazuya's back throw is this steel pedal drop. Flips him to the other side and throws them behind him. In Tekken, this throw is done by being all the way around your opponent's left side. Because you can move in 3D, it's not just about jumping over them or whatever. If you can navigate to their side and grab them by the side of their body, not from the front, you'll get this throw, where you can grab that specific leg and whip them around with it. That's a left side throw, but in Smash, it's basically just grab and then throw behind you, and you get that. His down throw is the Stonehead headbutt. Down throws in Smash usually bop them into the ground and then up in the air. And this animation isn't quite like that. It just sort of pops them up a little bit. Whereas in Tekken, it's a command throw you do by forward both punches and does the same animation and bops them down to the ground. So it's a little bit different. In Smash, I guess they didn't want to bother to take the time to have them bounce off the ground, just float in the air real quick for the sake of brevity and recovery and stuff like that. Up throw. I forgot up throw. That is because he doesn't really have this either. This is called Air Inferno, and it's basically just him shooting you with the laser beam up in the air. But he doesn't really throw you in the air like that in Tekken. This is sort of the beginning animation of his rage art, which we saw early on. It's kind of like that, right? He uppercuts you into the air and then hits you with a laser beam. That's the closest analog to this, is his Air Inferno up laser. He can do up lasers whenever he wants to, but in this particular animation, he punches you up in the air first. So that's about it. Throws cover pretty well all the things that the character is unique for, especially some of the devil throws. And the other throw that we already saw, the Gates of Hell, isn't as much part of the throw system as it is its own little unique throw. You can't switch it into anything else. If you've done it out of the Wavedash, you get that throw, no matter what. You can't like switch it into the down throw or up throw or whatever. It's kind of unique in that regard. I think the last thing to talk about is this taunt. Bang, bang. His side taunt actually does damage. In Tekken, it's the same string. Back 3-1-4-1. And it has a mix-up built into it. This, for whatever reason, they decided to include that as a taunt. Sakurai even mentioned you probably have better options to do than this move, but it's there just as like the icing on the cake. He has a taunt that does his damage. So I think that's pretty much it. Again, I think they did a great job translating this character. He uses his devil power built into certain moves, and those moves are his specials, which are always like, magic fireball stuff anyway, and his smashes, which are the ones that, meant to do the most damage. Everything else is basic like karate stuff, and they packed a ton of his moves into a pretty simple input system. And then they gave him the signature Mishima Wavedash. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. It seems to work pretty well. So when somebody masters that, they are going to have a really dangerous character. That's kind of all I wanted to talk about, is how his moves translated from one game to the other, and some of the little hints and differences and references to things that it had in there. I think it's a pretty cool job. We'll find out if he's good or not, but he's definitely going to be fun, if not difficult, which is exactly like Tekken. So I think in that aspect, they nailed it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope a couple of you at least take some time to look at this character in the lab, both in Smash and in Tekken, right? If you're new to Tekken, you definitely want to check this character out, because he's a badass, and it's really cool stuff once you learn how to do it. So that's going to do it. Maybe I will see you out there in either one of these games one day. If not, I'll see you in the next video. Later.